Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. £120,000 a week player confirms he doesn't want to leave Arsenal. Arsenal star Ben White has confirmed that he is open to extending his stay at the club by signing a brand new contract. The Englishman has been a gunner for over 2 years now, and he is a fan favourite. Everybody at Arsenal loves him, and all things point towards a new contract for White now. Arsenal signed Ben White from Brighton and Hove Albion for £50 million in the summer of 2021. Plenty of eyebrows were raised at the time, with numerous pundits having a real go at the Englishman after his debut at Brentford on the opening day of that season. White has since barely put a foot wrong. He has been magnificent for Arsenal and has almost never had a bad game for Mikel Arteta's side. The Arsenal boss and Edu have been impressed with White and want to offer him a new contract soon. Nothing is signed just yet, but the defender has confirmed that he wants to put pen to paper. When asked if he is eager to sign a new deal, White told Sky Sports, "Yeah, of course, I want to stay at Arsenal for as long as I can, stay at the highest level and push this club back to where it needs to be. Whenever that's spoken about, it's an amazing feeling that someone wants you. I have still got a few years left on my current contract, so even to be speaking about, it's a nice feeling." Even though Ben White has been one of Arsenal's best players since the start of last season, he doesn't seem to get enough credit. We have seen people picking the likes of Pedro Porro and Diogo Dalot ahead of him in combined lineups, which is just ludicrous in our opinion. White's performances almost never get the credit it deserves, and we really think he is Arsenal's and perhaps even the Premier League's most underrated player. Arsenal take on Chelsea this evening and White will start. If the £120,000 a week Gunners star has a good game, Mikhailo Mudryk or whoever starts on his side won't get a sniff on goal. Ben White says he works so hard for a 22-year-old Arsenal player. Arsenal have one of the best right flanks in the Premier League. Indeed, Ben White and Bukayo Saka have struck up what can only be described as a telepathic partnership down that side. Both players seem to interested each other's game brilliantly, and that has allowed both men to reach now levels over the past 18 months. White has really taken to his newfound role as Arsenal's right back, and while it can be a tough task sometimes, he doesn't mind doing some of the dirty work for Saka. Indeed, speaking to Sky Sports, White was discussing the fact that he's made more overlapping runs than any other player in the Premier League this season, and he says that he doesn't mind doing a lot more of running for Saka if that allows him to be more dangerous in the final third. The defender spoke about his partnership with the 22-year-old. He joked first, "I am doing all his running. That's what I am there to do. I am there to help him get into positions where he can do what he is so good at. If that means I have to do more running, then that's what it is." White may have to do a bit more running to help Saka out in the attack, but this is a combo that works almost to perfection. White's threat on the overlap allows Saka that extra time and space to cut inside and get those shots to the far post away, and anyone who's been watching Arsenal over the past year knows just how effective those efforts are. Saka may be a brilliant individual player, but football is still a team game at the end of the day, and having White playing alongside him helps him to no end. Mauricio Pochettino says £158,000 a week Arsenal man can become one of the greatest in the world. Chelsea's Mauricio Pochettino has backed Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta to become one of the greatest managers in the world. The two London sides faces each other in a derby this evening, and it will be an interesting game. Pochettino and Arteta know each other very well, even though they have never come up against each other as managers before. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta and Chelsea's Mauricio Pochettino were teammates at Paris Saint-Germain a long time ago. The Spaniard was just a teenager when he moved to Paris, and Pochettino took him under his wing and played a huge part in his early career. Arteta went on to achieve big things later, including becoming the Arsenal captain and winning multiple FA Cups as a gunner. Now, the £158,000 a week Spaniard is one of the best managers in the Premier League, and Pochettino believes he can actually become one of the greatest in the world in the coming years. Speaking about his time with Arteta in Paris, he said, as per Football London, amazing memories. When you connect with a person like him, we shared values and passion for football. I can tell you he is part of my family from day one when he arrived in Paris. We arrived together, spent time together, our families also, the first few months in the hotel, and then we lived very close, and it was an amazing history. It does not surprise me what he is doing. He was a coach already at 17. Trust me, he was very good in his judgment. He is still really young, improving day by day. He can be one of the greatest managers in the world. Chelsea actually thought about signing a special Arsenal player this summer. Emil Smith Rowe has been the subject of a lot of transfer speculation as of late. The Arsenal youngster is barely getting a game at the Emirates these days, and when a player this talented is rotting on the bench, the vultures begin to circle. Indeed, Smith Rowe is way too good to be a bench warmer at Arsenal, and as you can imagine, a number of Premier League clubs are said to be monitoring his situation. Interestingly, according to Kaya Kainak, speaking on the Arsenal Way podcast, Chelsea actually looked at signing Smith Rowe this summer, but Arsenal were never planning on entertaining the idea of selling the youngster to one of their bitter rivals. Kainak shared what he knows about the situation and the special player. He said, they didn't necessarily come in with an offer, but he was certainly on the list. They showed interest late in the window. They really wanted a wide player. They looked at Smith Rowe before they looked at Cole Palmer. Arsenal were unequivocal in saying that he is not for sale, and they were all summer. This is a player they still think can contribute, and he has 3 years on his contract. The issue is that is not translating in terms of minutes. He is surely in a position where he is thinking, I can't wait for you, and I can't wait for his chance. As much as Smith Rowe is a fan favorite at Arsenal, we can't help but think that a move to Chelsea would have made a lot of sense for him. Cole Palmer is getting plenty of chances to shine at Stamford Bridge after moving to the Blues, and Smith Rowe could really have benefited from that amount of game time. Sadly, the England international isn't getting much of a look in at Arsenal, and if that doesn't change, perhaps he will soon be considering his future. Smith Rowe may well be one to watch as we head into the January transfer window. Arsenal eyeing £26 million gem deemed the future of Brazil's midfield. Arsenal have reportedly set their sights on a number of midfield talents from Brazil ahead of the January transfer window. According to 90 Minute, Corinthians teenager Gabriel Moscardo is one of the players the Gunners are looking at. Arsenal are apparently keen on bolstering their midfield due to the Gunners dealing with some injuries. For instance, Thomas Partey recently missed 6 games due to a groin issue he picked up in training. Arsenal director Edu is said to view his native Brazil as an untapped resource of talent. Indeed, the Gunners' chief has struck gold there with the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and Marquinhos. Now, as per 90 Minute, Arsenal are apparently looking at Moscardo as well as Fluminense's Andrea Trindade and Sao Paulo's Pablo Maia. Focusing on Moscardo, his name may ring a bell with some fans as he was reportedly on Chelsea's radar in summer. According to Brazilian outlet IG, the Blues were put off by his valuation, with Corinthians reportedly seeking a fee of around £26 million. The West Londoners apparently submitted a bid of around £21 million in the summer, but saw their approach rejected. Now, Arsenal will hope to succeed where Chelsea failed in signing a player one scouting website described as the future of Brazil's midfield. Football Talent Scout recently wrote an in-depth scouting report in which they sung Moscardo's praises. Some excerpts include: "The main thing that sets Gabriel apart is that he combines his physical and technical gifts proficiently along with his phenomenal defensive awareness. Without a doubt, the young Brazilian looks to have everything it takes to be a world-class player in his position, but is definitely still far from being the finished product. Moscardo is a near-complete midfielder at his age, whose wide variety of skills allow him to play multiple roles in the middle of the park. He already has 17 competitive senior appearances for his club. The question is, how many more can he clock up before a big club snaps him up?" Paul Merson says £18 million player would be an amazing signing for Arsenal. The January transfer window may be a little way away yet, but Arsenal are already being linked with some signings for the winter. Indeed, Ivan Toney and Victor Osimhen have both been strongly linked with a move to the Emirates as of late, while the Gunners have also been looking at a new winger. Pedro Neto has been linked with a move to Arsenal lately, and writing in his column for Sportskida, Paul Merson has been talking up the idea of Neto joining the Gunners, claiming that he would be a great addition for any of the top six clubs apart from Liverpool. Merson gave his verdict on the £18 million attacker. Pedro Neto now looks like the excellent player we all expected him to become. Before his injury, he was like a speedboat without a driver. He was beating the players for fun, but there was no end product. He was making the wrong decisions too often. With the way Neto's playing now, I'd be surprised if he is still at Wolves at the end of January. Apart from Liverpool, I don't think there is a top team that wouldn't be interested in him. He'd be a great addition to Arsenal with the way they rely on their wingers. We can't help but agree with Merson here. Neto could be just the signing that Arsenal need. The Gunners have been lacking depth down that right flank for quite some time now, and while Neto isn't quite as Bukayo Saka's level, he would be a fantastic deputy for the England international. He is young, he is exciting, and he got a ton of potential. Neto ticks so many of the boxes in terms of what Arsenal have historically been looking for in new attacking additions. This is certainly a situation to keep an eye on. Federico Valverde reveals he almost signed for a Premier League giants. Federico Valverde has revealed that he almost joined Arsenal before moving to Real Madrid. The Uruguayan midfielder is one of the most sought after players in the world as he continues to dominate in the middle of the park for Real Madrid. Valverde has 2 La Liga titles and 1 Champions League to his name since completing his move to Madrid in 2016. But in a recent interview on Twitch, the 25-year-old revealed that he almost joined Premier League side Arsenal. During the live stream, Valverde was asked if there was a club that almost joined before Los Blancos, and he replied Arsenal. The Uruguayan will join a long list of world-class players who almost moved to North London, including the likes of Zlatan and Cristiano Ronaldo. Arsene Wenger, who was the manager at the time, had an incredible eye for talent, but unfortunately for him, he was competing with some of the best sides in Europe for Valverde's signature. Looking back, he won't regret his decision moving to Spain, but he may eventually play in the Premier League before his career ends. Linked with a move to Liverpool in the summer, Real Madrid value the player at around the £100 million mark, and with their already stacked midfielder, they may be open to letting him go. Arsenal told to complete the signing of Aston Villa ace. Arsenal are in the market for a goal-scoring striker ahead of the January transfer window, and former gunner Michael Sylvester has told Mikel Arteta to prioritize the signing of Ollie Watkins over Ivan Toney. The Brentford striker is expected to leave the Bees in January upon his return from his current 8-month ban for breaking the FA's gambling rules, and Arsenal have been one of the clubs heavily linked to the England star. The 27-year-old had an exceptional campaign for Brentford last season, finishing third in the Premier League scoring chart with 20 goals, but Sylvester believes his former club should move for Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins instead. He said, "Right now, You have Edin Ketia at the club alongside Gabriel Jesus, but signing a third striker could present them with a luxury that could be useful at this level, especially when you consider the amount of games that Arsenal could potentially play this season. The team always needs healthy competition and it needs quality. So if Arsenal were to sign another striker in the near future, then it would be Ollie Watkins over Ivan Toney if the decision was up to me. Watkins is a self proclaimed Arsenal fan after growing up supporting the Gunners and would likely jump at the chance to play for the North London club. However, the Englishman has just signed a new contract with Aston Villa until 2028, meaning the Birmingham club are under no pressure to sell, and if they do, it will be for very big money. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.